Hey, Danny, can you see and hear me? Am I there? Are you there? Hang on a second. How's that? Appropriately spooky. Oh, wait. That's actually blocking a lot of shit. Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's spooky. It's a horror book. Fucking thing. I just feel like at some points during this reading, people have been like almost laughing a bit. And it's like, what you find to laugh about in this family tragedy, I honestly don't know. Does that help? Or was the single candle enough? Actually, no, that's probably good. I don't know, I'm trying out a whole thing. But there we go, you can see the flame a little bit. It's right in front of the chat window. It's all working, it's all amazing. And then it gets thrown off by me turning this on. I never said I knew how to do a sheet, you know. Gosh, I look young by candlelight. That's nice. I like that. I'm into it. I might take out all the electric lights. Oh God, hello madam. Hello madam. Hello madam. She's such a bitch. Hello. You coming to say hi to all your people? The only downside is you can't see Flora quite as well. But, you know, it's supposed to be spooky. What? Oh, you don't want to be on camera, but you don't want to be off camera. Oh, shut up. Here you go. What's that? How's it? Oh, you can sit there like that. I guess we have to tilt this down a little bit. There we go. This feels comfortable, I guess. It's still spooky, you know. So my afternoon was spent falling asleep on stream again. But it was just John watching, so it was fine. He didn't care. And that was it. I played a bit of Megan Targaryen The Sims on Twitch. Which was okay. We got a phone call from Count von Stroud, who is not Strahd, but is a vampire. He's a vampire in a way that doesn't break any copyright laws. I liked it better over here. What about over here? Sorry, I'm just working shit out. For the flame to be on camera, it either has to be in front of me or in front of the chat window, so... No, we can't balance it on there. Stupid girl. Stupid girl, you're a stupid girl. Oh, you've got idiot for brains. Yes, you have got an idiot inside your brain. I love you. I do, I love you. Well, I did a tweet. No one's really shown up except you guys. But you knew I was going to do this beforehand. So... should probably get going. Should I tweet again or retweet or something? I know, she's so naughty. I'll show you, you're so naughty. You're so naughty. And you need your kisses. She's my content creation demon. Hang on. Ah, don't do that. Where is it? You might like David Seymour. No, I fucking don't. No one does. That's why he did that whole article in Women's Day or whatever where he was like, I can't find a wife. Yeah, a lot of people can't find wives, David Seymour, but you should really not be in the Women's Day about it. Josh, what's up? Other Josh, what's up? Wow, we are going to finish this shit today. And I liked the way the light looked just before. Nope, that wasn't it. I'm trying to make the spooky atmosphere work, okay? It's not... Don't worry about last night. All of this content is free and stupid. Like, all of it. So... kind of like that, but it didn't work. Yeah, and it's all on the internet anyway. Oh, who's that? Let me tell you a tale. Aye? Bell, Book and Putty Cat. We're ready to do an exorcism. Yeah, I'm Failvira. That's such a shitty pun, that's so weak. I should have thought this out better, and it actually looked a lot better before, No, I'm not a witch. My father is just a very stupid man who forgot that he was a witch until after I was dead. Help! Help! That's Susanna Good, remember? Remember from the beginning? I actually had it set up really well, and then Flora came along, and it's good, isn't it? I can hold it right up to the cat. Nothing happens. It's cool as a cucumber. Isn't that right? He's just not burning. He's not burning. More importantly, I can have it near a bunch of synthetic hair that's near my face. Alright. Well, there's 4 of us here. It's not my usual time for doing this, so that's probably what we're going to get. So, 10 minutes in. Oh shit, I should text Evelyn, shouldn't I? If I was doing this professionally, I would have all kinds of reminders set up and like an actual schedule and whatever else people do. Plan ahead for what I'm doing. Betrayal! Exclamation mark. All books are called Betrayal now. All point horror. They're just varying betrayals. Okay, last time on the Betrayal. Daniel Fear, the grandson of Simon and Angelica, has rolled in from Boston to visit Simon for his 75th birthday. And he finds that his grandparents are... Simon has the stupid Australian voice. Angelica has gone mental and just lies on a chaise longue demanding that people bring more wood for the fire. Which is not a mental thing to do. It's basically what I do all day. It's business excellence and it's a form of meditation. But then he realises they expect him to stay for a really long time, which is a bit weird. And he meets a girl in town, and her name is Nora. Nora Good. The one who's been narrating this, and the one who's been writing all of these memoirs. The Fear Fire. That's the kind of message you get when Evelyn just texted me back, because all I sent her was the betrayal. An exclamation point. She's like, I thought I betrayed you. No, she'll be here. Yeah, so Nora Good. First off, Daniel doesn't know anything about the Goods and why he should be avoiding them. Nora, I hardly know her. Ooh. If you're snoring, it's probably not on. Up to the conscience of the individual. You guys won't be able to hear that, but the hedgehog is outside. So Daniel doesn't know that the Goods are not supposed to be interacting with him or whatever. He doesn't know anything about the curse or the family or anything. But he does know that Nora has mentioned that the Fear family are super creepy and she hates them or whatever. So he has not told her his name. They've been courting. They've been going out for walks and whatever for like 3 days or something. And his surname has never come up, so that's good. And hang on, previous page, let's see what we got. Josh Brown. Yeah, he knows that the Fears are cursed in some vague way, but I don't think he believes in curses. Oh, yeah, no, Daniel finally kissed Nora. Woo! Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Nora gets home, and her dad's like, where have you been? Have you been out fingering some boy? I still think that's funny. And she's like, he's a nice boy, and I'm gonna get married to him. And her dad's like, no, he's a Fear. And she's like, oh shit, he kept that from me, but does it actually matter to anybody for any reason? And her dad's like, well, yeah, and I'm going to lock you in the basement. And so Nora's just screaming like, no, you can't do that, Papa, you can't do that. And that was pretty much where we left off. I think they had plans to meet up that night or something. Or they had plans to meet the next day. Also, it doesn't say that the dad not locked Nora in the basement, but I think he did. And I can't remember what stupid voice I used for Nora's dad. I know I used something. Oh, Foghorn Leghorn. Yep. Daniel Craig in Knives Out is the dad. Although, it's been taken a little bit too far and it's quite silly now. Against all evidence, she screams, you can't do this. Hi. Who's that girl?
Who's that girl? Ooh, it's a fire. Ooh, the candle flickers. So realistic. It's kind of annoying to use as a nightlight though, because the the flame makes a very short, a very quiet but ticking sound as it goes back and forth. Oh, Holly's listening, because I'm cooing to my little Florabella. Oh, it's alright. Kisses. I think I'm getting cat hair on my face. Was that where it was? I think so. Alright, we're just waiting for everyone to join before we start. But yeah, this is Burnageddon. This is Stupid Voices for Everyone. This is I don't care if you can keep up with the plot, because I'm doing all the stupid voices. I barely understand what I'm saying half the time. So it's fun, actually. And the next book we'll be reading will be Caroline B. Cooney, The Vampire, with the only YA vampire seducing a teenage girl into doing evil, but not in a sexual way. It works, like, you don't think it's possible, but it is. They are thematic. They're burning, but they're also kind of a betrayal of you guys because the candle is fake. So, and I guess the secret plays into it, and the secret is that it's an LED candle. So we've got all the themes there. How were you guys' days? Oh, okay. The text I sent Evelyn just said betrayal with an exclamation mark, which is very different from a text that says the betrayal. Betrayal. Oh, yeah. You both got vaxxed on the same day? That's crazy. Yeah, no, it's super fake. I would not want real candles around synthetic hair. Personal preference. Don't like my head being on fire. Okay. Well, if you guys are feeling a bit drowsy, I should probably start, but just gonna give it a minute. Okay. Here's what we can do to pass the time. What is your favourite moment of the trilogy? Yeah, Danny also grew like 4 feet taller. Oh, nice. Score. It could be your favorite moment from the trilogy, could be your favorite death, or like it could just be favorite incident. Like George Good remembering that he was a witch when it was too late. Not George, William. Or baby George being constantly mentioned. My favorite... I can't pick a favorite. Oh yeah, Hamilton Scott. How do I know that? Died by paddle wheel. R.I.P. Round and peace. Says. Oh, the head exploding and the old man head growing out of it was incredible. That's a top tier moment. Yep. The wee girl getting buried alive. Pretty funny. Yeah. Fucking Ezra Fear, was it? Oh, it was one of them. One of them no one liked, grown up. Ah, this plague town, everyone's dead in it. Who could have foreseen this? I hate it. It's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault. Yeah. All the fears are obsessed with graves. The ghost, yeah. Gaslighting, ghostlighting the mom. Pretty funny. Ah, shit, what was it? Oh god, I can't remember now. Oh, Constance and Matthew Fear bricking themselves up in a room. And then writing down, we have bricked ourselves up in a room. Pretty funny. Oh yeah, that person is a fear. Or a good. What? People realizing things. Like Hannah Fear going, why do you want to kill me? And Julia being like, because I want you to die. That was good. That was very funny. I wonder if Lucy Good actually did anything. Like, I know she didn't in the text, but if there was supplementary material. Or maybe she just kind of sat back and watched, like, wow, that Julia is super crazy. Maybe she was an unrelated good. We haven't heard of one with red hair before. And her hair was specifically described as orange. Who knows? Lucy Good, a mystery. Julia dying the second Simon opens the coffin. It's just sad timing. It's really sad. It's sad. I know, but I can't concentrate when you keep curling and uncurling your paw. I know you're not comfy, but I'm not comfy either. Also, if I was a professional, I would probably edit all of this crap out, but anyone who wasn't already here is just going to have to sit through 20 minutes of bullshit. It is, it's sad. It's just like, oh no. Oh, dang. Life, eh? What? Don't... You're putting your claws in a little bit, and I think I know why. I'm not kissing your head for the next 20 minutes. Yeah, I think it's meant to be ironic, but yeah, it is frustrating. It's... or laughable, which is kind of worse with horror. Yeah, so I made the atmosphere really spooky because I have heard that some of you are actually laughing when you listen to this. Which is quite sick, because we're talking about, you know, murder and violent death and everything, and I just... So I wanted to make the atmosphere a little bit more somber, a bit more appropriate for the subject matter. Ouch. Yes, I know. But my arm was sore. Fears will pay for this for 1,000 generations. Oh my god, you're laughing. What? How? Wait, so Josh M is a good. Who else is a good and who's a fear? We're all dumb as dog shit. Hands up. Or I can assign them randomly. Take the BuzzFeed quiz. Which character in the obscure Fear Street Saga trilogy? Good Hood, okay. Danny and Josh M are goods. Unfortunately, that does mean the other Josh has to be a fear, because we can't have two Josh goods. That's ridiculous. So, sorry, bud. You've just... I should have done that right at the beginning, and then you guys could have, like, cheered on one side or the other. That's definitely what I'll do next time I tell an intergenerational tale of revenge and madness. Fear but reverting to the fire spelling. Nice. I don't believe I have to be a good or a fear because I'm the narrator. But, oh, we got 6 people watching. Is Evelyn one of them? Proactive pyromaniac. No one remembers what the feud was about anymore. Canonically, I'm the devil. Oh, okay, and I'm giving you all power through evil. Gotcha. Catherine L. Stein. No, I changed the spelling to Stan. Ah, Daniel Fear and a Danny Good. Evelyn, hi. We were waiting for you by playing a game. It wasn't a game. We were just saying whether we were fears or goods. One Josh is a good, one Josh is a fear, because I made that happen. Danny's a good. John is a fear, spelled I-E-R. You asked to be every Dracula. We can't be every Dracula. Do you want to be a fear? No, I wanted to wait. It's more fun when you're actually, you know, everyone's here and we're all just hanging out in the chat, so. You're a fire! Oh my god. The chaos option. Power through chaos. Okay. Either the betrayal or the burning, whichever one it is, by R.L. Stein. Chapter 26. That night, Daniel waited until the house was silent and dark, and then, carrying a candle, he crept downstairs to Simon's library, determined to learn the truth about his family's history. Holding the candle high, Daniel could see that all 4 walls were covered from floor to ceiling with books. Yep, no shit, it's a library. The air smelled musty, almost thick with dust from the old volumes. The floorboards creaked under Daniel's shoes as he crossed the room to get a closer look at the books. To Daniel's surprise, the first shelf he examined held books about magic, the dark arts, strange scientific journals, and volumes about astrology and foretelling the future. How, strange that Simon should possess books of this nature, Daniel thought, moving the candle along the shelves. Did he and Angelica have a scientific interest in such matters? I can't do the JFK voice today. It's just sliding into a Sam Valentine voice that's kind of yelling. Everything will work itself out. Daniel searched the library shelves for another 20 minutes, but found nothing of interest, nothing that would reveal his family's history to him. Suddenly hungry and thirsty, he made his way to the kitchen with his candle. The old house creaked and groaned as he walked through the darkness. As if warning me away, he thought, feeling a chill. A glass of water satisfied his thirst. He craved the stuff. Then, moving the candle in front of him, Daniel made his way to the pantry behind the kitchen. Sorry, I've been trimming my wig fringe, so I got tiny bits of synthetic hair all over my face, quite itchy. Where are those, ginger cookies we had at dinner? He whispered to himself. I'll get it. It'll come back. Don't worry. It'll come back. He heard the soft scrabble of padded feet. The kitchen cat, no doubt, chasing after a mouse. He moved the candle over the shelves of tins and jars. No cookies. Something beyond the pantry shelves caught his attention. A crack in the wall formed a shadow in the flickering candlelight. Curious, Daniel pressed on the crack, and the wall slid back. A hidden doorway, Daniel realized. I don't know why they had ginger cookies or biscuits with their dinner, but, you know, it's all part of Angelica's madness. His heart beating excitedly, he pushed the door open farther and slipped inside. He found himself in a low-ceilinged, narrow room. Holding the candle high, he saw 2 pillows on the floor, stained by dark mildew, a bundled-up blanket, and a girl's doll. Preston Crack broke his mother's back. Well, I think he said his parents are dead, so she won't notice. And if you remember, this is the wee room where Julia and Hannah used to hang out when they were little girls. You know, before they murdered each other. Tried to. How strange, Daniel thought, bending to pick up the doll. Its dress was covered in dust. Its round blue eyes stared up at him in the candlelight. Whose doll was this? Daniel wondered, setting it down on one of the pillows. Who used this hidden room? Judging from the dust and mildew, it hadn't been occupied in many years. I'm guessing the story he was told about the 2 daughters... Actually, no, he wasn't. Or was he? Oh, fuck, I can't remember who knows about the 2 daughters and who doesn't. He kicked at the blanket, raising a cloud of dust, like a genius. His shoe hit something solid underneath. How strange! How strange! He muttered to himself. He pulled the blanket away and lowered the candle. The light fell over a large, dark-covered book. Bending to examine it, Daniel saw that it was an old Bible. The spine was cracked. The tattered pages smelled of mildew and decay. This Bible looks as if it has been in the family for many generations, Daniel thought. Why, has it been hidden under a blanket in this secret room? If I'm not careful, it's just going to slide into Larry David, and I don't know how. Kneeling on the dusty floor, he began searching through the pages with his free hand. In the back of the Bible, he found what he was searching for. A family history. Tattered, brown-stained pages held the scrawled handwriting of his ancestors. Daniel's eyes eagerly rolled over names and dates, births and deaths. He saw the date 1692 and read the names Matthew and Benjamin Fear, Wickham, Massachusetts colony. Our name was spelled differently then, Daniel realized. I wonder when the change was made, and why. It's been so long since I last saw Clone High. It reminds me of high school too much, and I can't enjoy it. Someday. His eyes eagerly searched the page, reading about other fears. So many early deaths, Daniel realized, narrowing his eyes and lowering the candle as he struggled to make out the dates. So many deaths, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time. Bent over the old volume, he turned the page excitedly, his eyes running down the names and dates. Suddenly, the candle flickered. Strange, Daniel thought. There is no breeze in this tiny room. The candle flickered again. Had someone else entered the room? Daniel started to turn as a cold hand was tightly clamped over his mouth. End of chapter. Beginning of next chapter. Never been more excited. Ask not what the second season of Clone High can do for you. Ask where you can pirate the second season of Clone High. I didn't plan anything. That's amazing. That's the hell are they going to do it about? Smartphones? A TikTok? Chapter 27. Daniel tried to cry out, but the hand gripped tighter. Shh! Do not make a sound, a voice whispered. The cold hand slipped away. Daniel turned to see Mrs. Mackenzie staring down at him, her glazed-over eye catching the light from his trembling candle. She gave him a strange smile. Is it the family history you're looking for? She whispered, lowering her good eye to the Bible on the floor. You have no need of books, young master. I will tell you all. JFK, get iPad. Swipe right. Swipe right. Swipe right. Wait, is right the good one or is left the good one? I can't remember. Anyway, JFK would swipe the good one on everybody. What is this room? Why is the family Bible hidden here? Daniel stammered, climbing unsteadily to his feet. I thought it would be safe here, the old housekeeper replied. This is a secret room. Your aunts, Simon's poor daughters, Hannah and Julia, may they rest in peace, would hide in here to whisper and giggle together. They thought I did not know about this room, but I did. How did they die? Daniel demanded. The old woman raised a finger to her lips. The curse of the fears caught up with them. Then your family is cursed, Daniel cried. Ironically, his trembling voice revealed his horror. Follow me, Mrs. Mackenzie whispered. I shall reveal all to you tonight. Okay, but, afterwards, you have to tell me about the Fear family. I'm gonna have to change the voice for Daniel, because it's loud and it's 9 o'clock. He doesn't say that stuff about her revealing all to him. He followed her through the dark, twisting halls to her quarters. There, in her tiny, nearly bare room, she motioned with her cane. Sit you down, the old woman whispered, shoving him toward the high-backed armchair. Oh, should I make Daniel Lord Simpington? Just as stupid a voice. Not one that is brand new to me, and like the Norwegian accent one, which I've been, I don't want to say working on, but fucking around with. I think he probably knew but forgot or didn't care, or I don't know. I will tell you more about the fears, more than you wish to know. Oh, the family is really cursed, Daniel asked again, very differently this time, obediently lowering himself to the chair, staring intently at the old lady in the flickering candlelight. I say, are the stories true? Mrs. Mackenzie nodded, leaning on her cane. Oh, the curse came about because of your first relatives in the New World. Their names were Matthew and Benjamin Fear. Oh, yes, I saw those names in the Bible, Daniel told her. They were treacherous men, ambitious. They did not care who they betrayed, the old woman rasped, scowling. And the curse, it came about because of them. They burned a young woman at the stake, the Fears did, Mrs. Mackenzie told him, tapping her cane on the carpet in rhythm with her words. They burned an innocent young woman. Her heartbroken father put a curse on your family. From that day on, the old woman continued, the two families have sought vengeance on each other, decade after decade, generation after generation. The two families have used all of the evil at their command. They have terrified and betrayed and murdered each other. She proceeded to tell him the stories of vengeance and betrayal. Daniel listened in chilled silence. Her croaking voice etched the scenes of terror deep into his mind. Is everyone okay with the Lord Simpington voice? Or you want me to change it up? I mean, I could make Daniel Alistair Cookie, but this video would be very short. Ian's my grandfather? Daniel asked finally, astounded by the old woman's stories. Simon Fear thought he could escape the curse by changing the family name, but it followed him. It found him. His young daughters died a terrible death because of it. Simpington. Taking a little further than I did in game, because no one can tell me not to annoy them now. I'm Lord Simpington. Don't you know who I am? The candle trembled in Daniel's hand. He set it down the arm of his chair. Joseph, your father, he watched his sister Hannah die. He knew from that moment on that he had to get away from this house, from this village. His brother Robert did not get away. He died of a strange fever, many said brought on by a spell from his evil daughter-in-law, Sarah Fear. Is that a reference to another book in the series, or is it just bullshit? The other brother, Brandon, and his son Ben, they just wandered into the woods and disappeared. It literally just says that. The curse of the two families continues to this day, the old woman said, shaking her head. I say, the other family, Daniel whispered. What is their name? Mrs. Mackenzie hesitated. She coughed, leaning on her cane. I have no idea how she knows half of these things. Ghosts? Maybe? Piss off, I did not click that link. It was an ad. For BMW. Yeah, good targeting. Mrs. Mackenzie, please tell me, Daniel urged. What is the name of the other family? The family that has cursed mine? Their name is Good, the old woman revealed. Daniel gasped. Good? That cannot be, he sputtered. Mrs. Mackenzie, I am in love with a Good. Nora Good. She cannot possibly be related to the evil family who... She is a Good, the housekeeper replied solemnly, staring hard at Daniel, leaning into the candlelight. No, damn it all, Daniel cried, leaping to his feet. No, I cannot accept this. Nora is kind and gentle. She is innocent of any evil. I am certain she knows nothing of this curse. I don't know where this accent is headed. I lost the Simpington. I think it's just generic drama. I don't care if it's a good name. What is it? Oh, yeah. Only 3 books. That well is like the well that owned Jane Fear. That well is endless. I'm certain she knows nothing of this curse. There we go, this is the Simpington. Perhaps she does not know, Mrs. Mackenzie replied, leaning on the cane. Perhaps you and she will be the ones to break the curse. Break the curse? Daniel asked eagerly. He grabbed the old woman. Break the curse? How? If a Fear and a Good were to marry, and then fuck to consummate that marriage, Mrs. Mackenzie said thoughtfully. Yes, Daniel cried, his voice cutting through the heavy, musty air. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Mackenzie. This is what I shall do, and the curse will end forever. That's good, I swear. Oh, blah. Blah. The next morning passed so slowly, Daniel felt as if time was standing still. Everything is still on Fiesta. Pacing his room, he repeatedly checked his pocket watch, waiting for the time when Nora finished work. Downstairs, preparations for Simon's birthday party were underway. The party was scheduled for that evening. Simon and Angelica had not emerged from their rooms, but a line of carts and carriages pulled up to the back entrance, carrying food and drink and flowers for the celebration. At a little after 3, Daniel set off, walking toward town. It was a lengthy walk along a dirt path that led through woods, fields, then finally small houses before reaching the town square. But Daniel enjoyed the walk. It gave him a chance to think of Nora and to rehearse what he planned to say to her. It was a warm day for autumn, yes it was. Tis. Sorry, she's been a sweetie. It was a warm day for autumn, almost summer-like. Warm, get it? Not as warm as it's gonna be, bitch. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Daniel unbuttoned his heavy overcoat as he walked. After several minutes more, he removed it and slung it over his shoulder. I hope it was one of his. When the low brick buildings of the town square came into view, Daniel's heart began to pound. He had rehearsed his marriage proposal again and again, repeating the words in his mind. But what, he wondered, would Nora's reaction be? Daniel knew that Nora liked him and cared about him. What would happen when he revealed to her that he was a fear? What would happen when he told her the long, tragic history of their families? When he told her that their marriage would end a centuries-old curse on their families? They've known each other like a week. Would she be horrified or overjoyed? Horror-joyed. It's possible to be horror-joyed. Oh no, I left my drink on the ground. It's okay. I can do it. I can do it without moving floor. Taking a deep breath, he shifted the coat to his other shoulder and crossed the unpaved street, taking long strides. The white clapboard general store came into view. Daniel felt as if his heart would burst. He stepped onto the sidewalk and stopped short. The store window was boarded over with pine boards. The door, normally open, was shut. Behind the small window in the door, the store was dark as night and empty. Nora is gone, Daniel realized. Next chapter. Got it. It was way closer than I thought. Oh, shit. I've got some targeted ads here that I don't appreciate. Older women trendy dresses, dresses for women over 65, walk-in showers for small baths. I'm actually quite interested in the walk-in shower. Thanks. Oh man, I hate the Simpington voice now. You know, I'm going to do a swap again. This time, Daniel Fear is the stupid Australian voice. And Simon? Cross that bridge when we come to it. Chapter 28. Daniel staggered back, nearly toppling over, so shocked his accent changed. Far out, where is she? He cried, staring at horror at the boarded-up store. Where's she bloody gone? He stood, trying to make sense of his frantic, rambling thoughts, trying to decide what to do next. How could she disappear overnight, vanish into thin air? As he stood in shock and dismay, a voice floated towards him, calling him. Daniel! Daniel! Bah, that's Nora's voice, eh? He uttered a low cry of surprise, ugh, then held his breath, listening hard. Pressure. Ow. Again he heard her voice. Again he heard her calling his name from far away. So far away. Yeah, he changed it with when he had a physical and mental shock. I don't know. Maybe. So faint and far away that it could be the wind, or his imagination. Daniel! Daniel! Oh, far out, Nora, I can hear yous, he cried frantically. Where are you? Where the bloody hell are you? He listened again. Oh, it is me bloody imagination, he decided miserably. I watched too much bloody telly. His shoulders slumped forward. The sky darkened. He felt like collapsing into the dirt. Daniel! Daniel! The faint, faraway cries were going to drive him mad. Daniel! Daniel! Frantically, Nora called to him, pounding on the frame of her bedroom window above the store until her fist throbbed with pain. Look up! Why won't you look up? She pleaded, watching Daniel, his face darkened by shock and grief. Daniel! I'm up here! She screamed. Finally, he glanced up. Centuries of evolution has trained man not to look at the sky. Finally, he saw her. Oh, Noza! Please tell me if that is a slur somehow for some person in the world. Because I guess he's going to be calling her Noza from now on. I don't know why it would be. I'm just worried that it would be. I wouldn't know. Noz! She could hear his happy cry through the glass. Wiping away her tears, she pointed frantically to the narrow balcony outside her second-floor window. It took him only 3 hours to realize she wanted him to climb the drainpipe to the balcony. Oh no, it says a few seconds. Yeah, right. She watched as he tossed his heavy coat to the ground, grabbed the pipe with both hands, and began to pull himself up. Oh, good. Okay, well, good news is, found a new slur. Bad news is, there's a new slur. Good news is, don't know who it applies to. Probably nobody yet. Bad news, I guess it probably applies to me. That was a Simpsons bit. It was just really poorly done. Behind him, she saw the village square stood empty, except for a large yellow hound dog sleeping in the middle of the street. Hurry! Please, hurry! Nora begged, her hands pressed against the thick window pane. Guess that's why they call it window pane. A short while later, he was standing outside her window, breathing hard. He stared in at her tear-stained face. Oi, Nozza! What's happened? He demanded. Open the bloody window. I cannot, she called out to him. My father has locked it. I am locked in my room. She watched him grip the frame and struggle to pry the window up. It wouldn't budge. With a loud groan, he pressed his shoulder against the glass and leaned with all his might. The pane remained in place. Break it, you dorklord. Sorry. Nora leapt back as Daniel heaved his shoulder into the pane again. She cried out as the glass fell into her room. It landed flat at her feet without shattering. Okay, so that's what he was trying to do. But, you know, they're making a lot of noise anyway. With a happy cry, Daniel burst through the opening, which here is misspelled poppening, and swept Nora into his arms. Daniel! Daniel, I thought I would never see you again, Nora cried, pressing her damp cheek against his. He hugged her tight. Oi, Noz, what's happened? Why's he bloody dead locked you in here? Here's? She held on to him for a moment, as if proving to herself that he was solid. He was real. He was thick as pig shit. Father locked me in to make sure that I would never see you again. He has gone to the next town to make arrangements. He is taking us away, Daniel. Far away. Daniel uttered a cry of surprise. Struth! But why, Nozza? He found out that you are a fear, Nora replied, her body trembling, tears rolling down her flushed cheeks. She was still super hot, even though she'd been, like, in her room for, like, 2 days or a day and a half or whatever. Oh, so yous know, Daniel said, feeling his pulse throb at his temples. Yous know I'm a member of that cursed bloody family. I know, and I do not care, Nora declared. I love you, Daniel. I do not care anything about your family or its past. Ah, reckon I love yous too, Nora, Daniel cried, and they embraced again. But you gotta know the story of our families. You gotta know all about the fucking curse, mate. No! It sounds very boring. Take me away from here, Nora pleaded, her voice trembling. For Father will never allow us to be together. He will be back in an hour or two, and then... Yeah, no, that's time enough for me to tell the story, Daniel insisted. Oh, and then guess what? We're gonna get married. Oh, yes, Nora agreed, squeezing his hand. Yes, Daniel. They kissed. Presumably each other. Holding her hands tightly, Daniel revealed to Nora the tragic history of the fears and the goods. She listened in horrified silence, leaning her head against his shoulder. So many deaths, so much murder and betrayal, she murmured when Daniel had finished. Does that mean you won't marry me? He asked, his eyes burning into hers. No, we must be married at once, she replied breathlessly. We must end the curse forever. And also, all those grisly murders made me feel very horny indeed. Daniel cried out in happiness. Ha! Far, I passed by the house of the town bloody justice on me way here. I know he'll marry us now. Can't believe they have to marry that guy as well as each other. Such a barbarous concept. Nora's smile faded. She gazed at him uncertainly. But, Daniel, we have no ring to bind the ceremony. Daniel let go of her hand. His expression turned thoughtful. No fucking ring, he muttered, frowning. Oh, yep, here we go. He reached behind his neck and pulled off the silver 3-clawed pendant. Yeah, this'll do for a fucking ring, Nora, he proclaimed excitedly. What a strange object, Nora cried, staring at it. Where did you get it? Oh, that's of no fucking concern, Daniel replied excitedly. It'll serve as a ring. After some discussion, he raised the silver disc to slip the chain around her neck. No discussion. I just like the idea of stupid Daniel trying to turn it into a ring somehow. As she arranged the pendant, that's right, the pendant is on good now. As she arranged the pendant, Nora felt a sudden surge of heat at her chest and thought she saw flames rising up around the room. The strange image lasted only a few seconds, and Daniel didn't think to warn her about it. Or maybe he hasn't connected it with the family curse yet. He's like, oh, remember that weird vision I had? Starts romantic, but gets awkward the longer you take fumbling around with it. Yeah. And then it kind of loops back around to romantic again, right? Right? When the strange image cleared, Daniel was pulling her by the hand toward the window to make their escape. Oh, oi, tonight's me granddad Simon's 75th birthday party, Daniel told her, helping her onto the tiny balcony outside the window. We can announce our fucking marriage at the party. I'm gonna make Simon do a yachty. Far he's gonna spew. Oh, Daniel, Nora cried, lingering at the window. What will your grandfather say? What if our announcement angers him or makes him unhappy? Nah, he's only going to be joyful. A centuries-old curse is fucking ended, Daniel replied, smiling, his dark eyes flashing excitedly. Come on, Nozzer. Hurry. Tonight'll be a night we'll fucking remember. Next chapter. Yep, we might as well. We might as well, because the first 30 minutes was nothing, so I guess I better carry on. Daniel replied foolishly, yeah, don't go anywhere fucking near that place. Chapter 29. That night, Daniel walked with his new bride through the gloomy halls of his grandfather's mansion. Daniel, this house, it frightens me, Nora whispered. Betrayal train, choo-choo. I wish I could do Elmo's voice. Ah, far out. We're not going to stay long, my dear wife, Daniel told her, squeezing her hand. We'll leave after the birthday party, I promise. We won't even stay the night. Thank God, no one wants to spend their wedding night in the fucking Fear Mansion. Nora stayed close by his side as he led her through the dark corridors of Simon Fear's house. The house is so dark, so cold, she whispered. Oh, try not to think gloomy thoughts, he urged as the pantry came into view. I've only been telling you scary stories for about 6 hours. After all, we're married. And after a few hours, we never need return to this dreary fucking place again. Mrs. Mackenzie and more than a dozen helpers, hired from another town for the evening, were bustling about the kitchen, preparing the food and drink for the birthday party. But the old housekeeper stopped to stare as Daniel led Nora into the room. Oi, Mrs. Mackenzie. This is me wife, Nora, Daniel announced, unable to keep a wide, excited grin from his face. Nora good, the old woman muttered, studying Nora intently with her one good eye. Then she smiled too. I wish you both joy, she said. Yeah, can you take care of Nora while I tend to me grandparents? Daniel asked, still holding his bride's hand. When the time's right, I plan to announce our fucking marriage. Our holy boning certificate. You can do it. Signed, fucking God. I've never been married, so I don't really know what happens. I think it's that. He turned before the housekeeper could react and hurried to meet Simon and Angelica in the ballroom. Simon stopped in surprise at one entrance to the ballroom. Where are the fucking guests? He asked himself. The enormous room was empty. Hundreds of glimmering candles sent a wash of pale light over the walls, festooned with white and yellow flowers. Daniel's footsteps echoed loudly in the vast emptiness as he crossed the room to greet his grandparents. He remembered that the party was scheduled to have begun more than an hour ago. Was it possible that no one had come? Not yet. As far as Daniel had been able to tell during the weeks of his visit, his grandparents had no friends. The Fear Mansion had been closed to all visitors for 35 years. Did Simon and Angelica expect people to come? Had they invited anyone? Anyone besides Daniel? You are an hour late. You piece of shit. He's their only grandson that didn't disappear into the woods, and he's an hour late. He's been staying in their home for weeks. He's brought an uninvited guest that he's planning to spring on everyone as his wife, and he's an hour late. This guy sucks. Yeah, Simon and Angelica are terrible people, but this boy is rude. He is impolite. Anyway, Daniel felt a chill of horror. Am I really the only fucking guest at this eerie party? No one wants to be there, that's true. G'day, he called, trying to sound cheerful. But his voice echoed mournfully in the enormous empty space. His grandparents hovered near the door. Angelica wore a solemn-looking black dress, more suited to a funeral than a birthday party. Her long white hair was tied behind her head with a black ribbon. Daniel hesitated and gaped at his grandmother. Angelica was going through the motions of welcoming guests. "It's so good to see you," she repeated with a smile, nodding her head at empty air. "So nice of you to come." Daniel swallowed hard. "She's lost her fucking senses," he told himself, watching her smiling and carrying on a conversation with no one at all. Simon, his dark eyes glowing excitedly behind his spectacles, his face flushed in the candlelight, stared eagerly at the open doorway. He leaned forward in his wheelchair, an expectant smile frozen on his face, as if eager to see who would arrive next. Daniel took a deep breath. "Guess I better go along with the fucking charade," he told himself with a shudder. "Yeah, happy Buzzday, Grandfozzo," he called warmly. This is what we say. It's what we say here. We say happy Buzzday, Grandfozzo. That didn't work. No one believes that. He called warmly, rushing up to the wheelchair and shaking Simon's hand. Simon's hand was as cold as ice. "Thank you, my boy," he replied. "Oh, I am happy that at least one member of my family saw fit to attend this occasion. Yes, I am," he added with some bitterness. "That's right, I'm doing a voice nobody wanted to hear. The voice I do to my babies. Well, only to animals. I don't do it to actual babies, because that's weird." Daniel moved over to greet Angelica. "Did you come with the Bridges?" she asked. She stared at him as if she'd never seen him before. Oh, yous look grass tonight, Grandma," Daniel managed to say. "Don't just stand there. Why don't you mingle with our guests?" Angelica demanded. She turned away from him and stuck out her gloved hand. "So good of you to come," she gushed to no one at all. "And how are your lovely daughters?" Simon continued to stare at the doorway, the expectant smile frozen on his face. Actually, is Angelica mental and greeting everybody because she was in her room doing She was in her room doing hoodoo and not hosting events, and that's why, Hannah and Julia got so jealous of each other? Yeah, I don't baby talk to a baby. That's, they're like little dudes, I'll baby talk to a cat or a dog or a horse or whatever all day long. Probably not a horse. When I see a baby, I'm just like, oh, and what do you do? Hello. Oh, that's very interesting. Yes indeed. Oh, you'd like some yogurt. Well, that is quite fascinating, actually. But yeah, maybe Angelica's mentalness is making her act like a hostess because she's trying to rewrite her life. I don't think that much thought went into it, but it's kind of fun for us to do. Daniel stepped quickly to the wall, his shoes pounding like thunder in the empty ballroom. Oh, what should I do? He wondered. They're mad. Completely mad. Both of them. Should I bring Nora out and introduce her now? Should I tell them Nora and me got fucking married? Or should I just take Nora and flee this fucking frightening place? Yes. Nah. I can't run. I'm gonna stay and fucking tell them. Idiot. Idiot boy. Idiot. Watching Simon from across the room, Daniel wondered how the old man would react. A fear had married a good. Today, on Simon's birthday, he's also overshadowing the birthday, what a bitch. The ancient feud between the two families had ended. Hundreds of years of bitterness, of treachery, of evil had come to an end. The fears and the goods would be one family now. Will my grandfathers share my joy? Daniel wondered. I'm not doing the Australian voice as loudly as normal because it's nearly 9:30 and I have neighbours, you know. Daniel heard a rumbling from the far end of the ballroom. He glanced up to see a birthday cake being wheeled in on a cart. Yes. It was an enormous round cake. 3 tall tiers, frosted in white and yellow. On top were 75 candles, creating a blaze of yellow light that shimmered over the cake. Well, that's fucking absurd, Daniel thought. Such a magnificent fucking cake for such a shitty celebration. Who'd bring such a cake into a fucking tomb? A tomb! Italics. Yeah, I should get me missus now, he decided. I'll tell me grandparents my news, and then the missus and me will flee into the night, never to fucking return. As the hired servant slowly wheeled the cake towards Simon and Angelica, Daniel hurried to the pantry to retrieve Nora. Holding her hand tightly, he pulled her into the ballroom. In the gloomy, eerie silence, Simon was preparing to blow out the candles, his face red in the glow from 75 candles. Actually, I think I'm going to make Simon Fear's voice the Foghorn Leghorn one because Nora's dad doesn't need it anymore. Nora resisted, but Daniel pulled her across the empty ballroom. She lay down on the floor like a baby, but he just kind of pulled her. You know, like a baby in Kmart will just kind of lie down. No, she doesn't do that. Squeezing her hand, Daniel gave Nora a reassuring smile. Far, she looks grouse, Daniel thought. Nora wore a simple pale blue dress with a lacy white collar. The silver 3-toed pendant glowed at her throat. Granddad, Grandma, I've got a fucking announcement to make, Daniel declared, his voice booming in the empty room. Nora lingered just behind him. Daniel saw Simon's eyes narrow. Simon was staring at the pendant at Nora's throat. What is this? He stammered. Holding tightly to Nora's hand, Daniel took a deep breath. Oh, Grandfos, on this happy occasion I'd like to introduce me missus. I've married Nora Good. Dun, dun, dun. No, chapter 30, which we might as well do. Actually, that's a good point, Evelyn. On reflection, if I invited one person to a nice birthday dinner and he was an hour late, I would sarcastically greet other invisible people as he entered the room. Yeah, and pretend not to know who he was. Are you with the Bridges? You can't be my grandson because he got here an hour ago, or was supposed to. One assumes he's here. He would never make such a breach of etiquette. Yeah. And Simon did give him the pendant, saying it'll protect you from our enemies. Yeah. Chapter 30. No! A hideous wail, a cry of anguish and of horror rose over the ballroom, causing 1,000 candles to flicker and bend low. It took Nora a long while to realize that the howl had come from Simon Fear. Several hours later, frightened, she took a few steps back as Simon rose from his wheelchair. It's not several hours. The old man's eyes were wide with horror. He pointed a trembling finger at the 3-clawed disc around Nora's throat. No! Another animal howl escaped Simon's lips. Still pointing, he staggered toward her, but his legs would not support him. He stumbled. Trying to steady himself, he leaned against the cart and pushed over the cake. Angelica began to shriek as the enormous cake splattered to the floor. So funny. I mean, I know that cake will destroy me at some point, but I bet Simon didn't. Daniel, what do we do? Nora cried, but her words were drowned out by yet another howl from Simon and by Angelica's shrill cries. Daniel, what is happening? It's fire, Nora, it's not complicated. A small carpet caught fire first. Then the entire room was ablaze, as if all the candles in the ballroom had suddenly fallen and flared into tall flames. Daniel, please. Daniel. She couldn't see him. He was hidden behind a bright wall of fire only feet from her. Flames leapt from the floor and danced off the four walls. How could the room be burning so quickly? Nora wondered, choking on the thick smoke, choking on her fear. Daniel! Daniel! It was so bright, so blindingly bright. 'Cause it's fire. As she stared into the flames, surrounded by screams and terrified cries, Nora saw a struggling figure emerge from the yellow-orange brightness. Daniel, where are you? The figure grew closer, clearer. Nora raised her hand to her mouth as she realized she was staring at a girl about her age, a girl struggling against a dark wooden stake, surrounded by flames, a girl burning, screaming as she burned. Susanna Good, burning at the stake beside her mother. Dipshit Daniel wonders if Simon knows about the girls, thinks it's great to tell him about his wife. Choking on her fear. Well, she may have been doing that earlier. And maybe he was. You know, power through evil. You wish for all kinds of things when a baby's born. I don't know. There's a lot about life I don't know yet. I thought the exact same thing, Danny, when I read that. And as Nora gaped in open-mouthed horror, other tortured figures invaded the room, rising up through the crackling, blistering flames. Nora saw Rebecca Fear, her neck broken, hanging by a rope from a dark rafter. Oops, hang on. Black. Where's the black flag? Where's the... Hold this up. Old Benjamin Fear rose into the room, impaled like a scarecrow, a wooden shaft pushed up through the back of his skull. Nora screamed and tried to shut her eyes, but she had to watch. She had to bear witness as the other victims of the past emerged in the burning ballroom. Which, by the way, is one of my favourite horror movie tropes, when all of the ghosts come out. As she gazed in silent horror, she saw Matthew and Constance Fear, skeletons behind their walled-up prison. William Good, his head exploded, his skull showing through rotted flesh, hovered into view. The ghost of little Abigail Good floated overhead. Overhead? Why? Abigail's mother, Jane, staggered stiffly after her, her face bloated from drowning. Kate Fear rose in front of them, a knitting needle through her heart. Hannah Fear came next, a sword through her chest, proving that R.L. Stein used the same plot twice. Then Nora saw Julia Fear scratching the air, scratching at nothing, her fingernails cut and bleeding. Poor Julia, buried alive, but back now to join the other victims of the centuries. The victims, the phantoms of the past, Fears and Goods, roared around the room, their cries louder than the thunder of the flames. They swept round and round, faster and faster, until they became a raging whirlwind of pain, of brutal death. Daniel, where are you? Daniel! Nora stared into the swirling flame. Daniel, oh, Daniel. Unable to find him, unable to endure the howls of the dead, their cries of agony as they swept around the room, Nora covered her eyes and fled. Moments later, she was in the cool darkness of the night, watching the blaze from the front lawn, trembling from the sudden cold, gripping the silver medallion with both hands as villagers made their way from town and gathered, muttering about the evil of the Fears, about the centuries of evil that had led to this night, to this final fire. I fear grief. Adoy hoy hoy. Daniel, please come out, Daniel. Nora called his name again and again, to a point where even she got bored. But as the flames raged, swallowing the Fear Mansion in their eerie light, and the terrifying howls rose up in the night like a symphony of pain and horror, Nora knew that she would never see Daniel again. Epilogue. Nora dipped her pen, but the inkwell had run dry. Yawning, she set down the pen and stared at the stack of pages she'd written. Our marriage ended the feuds between the Fears and the Goods, she thought miserably. But not as we had intended. No one came out of that fire. Not Daniel. No one. The house burned for days until the fire finally smouldered out, leaving nothing but a black, charred shell in its place. Leaving the charred ruins of the Fear Mansion and a legacy of evil. Evil that will hover over the entire village. Why? None of it happened there. It's like, oh, what a tragic ending, but it happened because Simon slipped on a cake. That's just funny. Although, I guess, Simon's story kind of started with a party where he met Angelica, and then it ended with a party where he slipped on a cake, killing his entire family. There probably is a horror series called Legacy of Evil. This is why I've written my story, Nora thought, flexing her aching fingers. This is why I've spent the night writing down everything I know about the Goods and the Fears. Somehow. Maybe someone reading this will be able to stop the evil before it rises again. They think I'm insane, Nora realized. Yeah, no shit. How many days has it been? Oh no, it's just the one night. Yep. They think the fire and all I saw drove me mad. That's why they brought me to this insane asylum. Don't know if that was meant to be a twist. That's why they locked me in this room. But I'm not mad. My story had to be told. It had to be written. I had to stop the hideous evil. I had to. I apparently had to make up the word count for this novel. Glancing at the sunlight pouring through the window, Nora heard footsteps. Voices in the hall. The door to her room opened. 2 uniformed nurses entered. Their faces were solemn, their eyes cold. The doctors will see you now, Nora, one of them said softly. Just wanted to bring that back one time. Yes, very well, Nora said, rising from the hard chair she'd spent the night in. She lifted the heavy sheaf of papers from the small desk. Here, they must read this, she told the nurse. They must know the whole story. They must know about the evil. The evil will destroy us all, you see. They must know. Narrowing her eyes, studying Nora's face, the nurse took Nora's pages and tossed them into the fire, because of course she did. No, Nora shrieked. She tried to dive after them, but the nurses held her back firmly. It's for your own good, Nora, one of them said softly. If the doctors saw what you've spent the night scribbling, they would lock you up and throw away the key. The Pumpkinhead scene alone. Crazy. Nuh-uh. Nora stared at her pages as they caught flame and started to burn, sending thick white smoke up the chimney. You do not understand. Flora? What are you doing? Yeah, you just wait. I'll be down in a minute, okay? Do you want to go outside? She wants to go outside. Good girl. Go on. Ready? Ready? Go. Quick. Flora, go quick. Good girl. She's been fucking me about with the door lately. It's the same asylum. You know what we do to people we think are crazy? It's not nice. You do not understand, Nora protested, tears forming in her tired eyes. The evil is still alive. The evil is still there. The word must get out. People must know. How does she know the evil is still there? The mansion burned down because Simon slipped on a cake again. I know the spirits were there, but maybe they were being let free. She didn't know. Oh, I thought I heard something. Come with us, Nora. The nurse's voice was soft, but her grip was hard and tight on Nora's arm. Come with us now. Try to forget your wild tale. Did you not hear the news? The other nurse asked brightly. This will surely cheer you, Nora. The Fear Mansion is gone, but the village is to build a road on the property. What? A road? Nora asked, feeling dazed, because it had only just burned down like that night. But the horror. No more horror, Nora. No more. The road will be lovely. It means that lovely houses will be built there, the nurse told her, edging her toward the door. And do you know what they're going to call the new road? What? Nora asked weakly. The aristocrats. They're going to call it Fear Street. Next page. The end. We did it. We did it. We read the whole thing. Oh, man. Larry David watching the Fear Mansion burn and looking down and realizing that one of his shoes has cake frosting on it because he was the one who dropped the cake. Oh, gosh. Alright, so the next point horror book we're going to read. I know it's 10, but the next one is going to be Caroline B. Cooney's The Vampire, also called Deadly Offer, which is about a vampire that tempts a young girl, but not in a sexual way, because the vampire is super gross. So, if you would like me to read... Oh, that's actually quite long. I could read the first chapter for you now, but I'm not going to do stupid voices for that one. I'm just going to read it normally. Thank you, Josh. My reading voice is known around the world. To have the oh yeah, I just thought I could read like the first chapter here but then read it again in the next video. But that's okay, because it is, you know, it's long enough. And yeah, that's the one we're going to be doing next. And then maybe Twins, also by Caroline B. Cooney. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, The Accident. That book scared the fucking shit out of me. You down for a beginning chapter of The Vampire? Yeah, go on, it's not that long. Alright. I'm not doing stupid voices for this one, because, you know. And I never said this was a good book, okay? I just said it was a book I enjoyed very much that had a vampire and a teenage girl that wasn't gross and sexual. Chapter 1. The Vampire. Suppose, it said, in its voice like antique silk, faded and slightly torn, that I could make you popular It did not smile, for which Althea was glad. She did not particularly want to see it smiling. She waited, but no explanations followed. Talking to it was somewhat upsetting. Althea kept her back to the wall, waiting for it to leave. Usually it left rather early, having, she supposed, appointments to keep. Tonight it stayed, waiting. She knew it could always wait longer than she could. Her heart snagged on that word, popular. At last Althea asked, "How could you make me popular?" It nodded for some time, its entire front pulsing slowly back and forth, as if it were on a spring. "Tell me," it said in that slippery satin voice, "what is the most popular group in school?" That was easy. "Cheerleaders," said Althea with yearning. The varsity squad was a closed unit of slim blondes and sparkly brunettes who not only never spoke to Althea, but, far worse, never noticed her either. "Who," it went on, like a river or a tide, "do you wish had never gotten on the squad?" That too was easy. "Celeste," said Althea. Celeste had made varsity as a freshman, which, to the sophomores, juniors, and seniors who failed to make it, seemed unfair. A group of students, yeah. I think One Direction is the most popular. I'm hearing things about TikTok. The TikTok children, they have their own dances. I don't know. I'm 36, vampire. I don't understand how you can make me popular at high school. Oh, I have to buy them beer. Okay. Celeste was quite extraordinarily beautiful. At first, Celeste did not appear sufficiently energetic to cheer. She walked slowly, languidly, with her hands trailing. Celeste seemed more a romantic dreamer than a screaming, leaping, possibly even perspiring member of a gymnastics-oriented squad. But cheerleading transformed her. Once in uniform, Celeste became a star. And popular. So popular. Althea longed for the popularity that cheerleading brought. Althea was a gentle girl. She had sweet features and a demure posture. When she spoke, people quieted to hear her distinctive whispery tremor. In elementary and middle school, Althea had had a circle of giggly girlfriends, a phone that rang constantly, invitations every weekend to spend the night or order pizza or go to the movies. Those were all the things you could do back then. She was on the softball team. She won several silver medals in horseback riding and went on a wonderful group skiing trip. She had thought that in high school she would become a serious skier, and she had bought a beautiful ski outfit to shine on the snow. "Well, wouldst thou like to bring it on?" The circle of friends, like a kaleidoscope turned and refocused, had split cleanly apart to form new groups. One group was heavily into individuality and new experiences. They wore trendy clothing or torn jeans, unique sweatshirts or giant earrings. They found Althea altogether too dull to bother with. Another group had boyfriends, and Althea, without one, was unwelcome. The third group became scholarly and embarked on a soul-whipping routine of trying to beat one another out with exam grades and extra credit reports. Althea's throaty whisper became a liability. Nobody heard it. She had to raise her voice, and the voice felt foreign, like an intruder, like a stranger yelling. Loneliness absorbed her life. It was a quiet life. No phones, no laughter, no gossip, no giggles. It was November, a month of dark and chill. A month in which Althea saw herself like an abandoned waif in the gutter, without hope. Because she was like 15 or whatever, and this is how they think. Perhaps, the voice continued, Celeste could be taken off the squad. She slipped down those words, as if on a water slide at an amusement park. She noticed how the voice liked to split sentences, teasing with the first word, who, what, perhaps. She did not like standing quite so close. It had given her all sorts of assurances, but did she know for sure that she could believe those promises, under the circumstances? Would there not, it continued in a lazy, inquiring sort of manner, as if they had all year to consider it, be tryouts for Celeste's replacement? Althea nodded. The cheerleading squad was a precision team. They worked in pairs. They would have to have an even number. Althea had had years of dancing and gymnastics. Nevertheless, she had not made the team. The high school was jammed with girls who had had years of dancing and gymnastics. There would be a lot of competition, said Althea, remembering the taste of humiliation and despair when she had been cut from the list long before the final round of tryouts. Perhaps, the voice said, with such slowness that it seemed to be melting away, I could arrange for the competition to be missing. She let her mind drift over that, skimming like a seabird on the surface of the suggestion. Not landing, no. Not part of it, but thinking about it. The power of it. The potential of it. What a change it would make in her life. She would be among the lovelier and more exciting girls. The girls who partied and laughed, drove fast cars and sat with adorable boys. Me, Althea thought, popular, a cheerleader. Perhaps someday I would even be captain, she whispered. Perhaps so. Its skin was the colour of mushrooms. And date somebody on the basketball team, she breathed, imagining it. She remembered how the cheerleading squad sat on the bus with the team, how if they won the game there was laughter and shared snacks, and favourite songs were played while they foot danced because the bus driver didn't allow standing. How in the back of the bus girls sat entwined with their boyfriends, their laughter quieter, more intimate. How couples got off the bus last, holding hands. Maybe even Michael, said Althea, so softly she was not sure she had let the thought out, because the thought was so precious. Michael. Maybe even Michael, the voice agreed. Althea pulled herself together. She was envious of the popular girls, but she was kind. She didn't want anything nasty to happen, and Celeste seemed like a perfectly nice person. What would you do to Celeste? Said Althea warily. It smiled. The teeth were not quite as pointed as Althea had expected, but she shuddered anyway. She was told, with an air of reproach, "It doesn't hurt, you know. It's just rather tiring. Celeste would simply be rather tuckered out." The eyes changed their focus, leaving Althea's face. She felt as if she were released from suction cups. It stared at the sky, at the black cloudless sky sprinkled with stars, gleaming with moonlight. It seemed to find a companion with whom smiles were exchanged. Celeste would be back in school the next day. Then why wouldn't she stay in the squad? I told you, she'll be tired. She'll feel a need to resign. She'll want a little time to herself. There's no cause for you to worry. Her grades won't suffer. Althea decided not to think about the details. She did not let herself think about being popular. I can't condone, but on the other hand, a simple exercise that would leave Celeste tired, and after all, Celeste is only a 9th grader and I'm 10th, and I deserve it more. Its fingernails were grey like foil. Althea, it said, stroking her name, feeding it new ideas. Think about school tomorrow. Think how you sit alone at lunch, how nobody talks to you in study hall, how nobody shares a soda with you after class. How vivid it was. How often it had been true. The voice was 3D and sticky, like a spider's web. But if you're a cheerleader, Althea saw herself among the slender blondes and sparkly brunettes. You, Althea, said the voice, softer than clouds. You deliver, Celeste. Althea shivered. I, breathed the vampire, will make you popular. The end of chapter 1. So, you can see how I never said it was a good book. But the writing is miles ahead of what we have been reading. So, shit, I've been going for... Is it everything you dreamed of and more? How the vampire is kind of... It's not a sexy boy. You don't look like a winner. I can make you one. Just give me someone. I'm just going to make them a little bit tired. That doesn't sound bad. That doesn't sound bad. Be good to be a winner. You can have a soda after school with Michael. Point Horror was so great because a lot of them were trash with weird gory scenes that stayed with you, but a lot of them were kind of psychologically, she's all that, Dracula edition. Oh god, okay. Yes, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening to 3 full books of R.L. Stine. And thank you for listening to chapter 1 of Deadly Offer. I actually remembered it's not called The Vampire, it's called The Cheerleader. And as everyone in this chat at the moment knows, I myself was a cheerleader. I miss it terribly. I know I'm too old for it and can never go back. I do not want to coach because I would be jealous of the girls I was coaching and mean to them as my coach was unto me. So I get the longing that Althea feels. But yeah. Also, you know, if a vampire wanted to do me a solid, I can think of some people who are pretty evil. Wouldn't mind putting them in, you know, their way. Thank you everyone so much. Go to bed. Be good, look after each other. And Josh and Danny, sorry, Josh Good and Danny, you guys drink plenty of water, put a big water bottle beside your bed, and get some sleep. Vampires don't go to cheer camp, a Bailey School Kids novella. Vampires would be great at it. You could just hurl a girl into the ceiling. Oh, floor once in. Alright. Good night, everyone. Good night. See you tomorrow. Take care of each other or don't. I don't care.